So in regards to schools and what they can do, I have seen schools put up, visuals like on the TV. They'll say what the tasks are, so that they can constantly refer, or a time clock, or everyone does something. Have you seen any other good techniques that schools have implemented to support children?
Those visual timers are great.
Yes.
Yeah, for those time management.
Just be aware that some kids struggle with the noise, and some of the visual timers are noisy.
True. Noise,
You can get ones that aren't noisy, that just show the passing of time in red. And we tend to use them more than we use the ones that kind of make a noise, because the kids struggle with the noise. Some of them are quite sensory to it. And asking for help's it doesn't always have to be verbally. So we've got some kids that use like a card system, and the green would say, it's just a little on the corner of the desk, and the green would say, I'm doing okay at the moment. If they turn that card perhaps to a yellow or a red, then that might be, or just check in with me. So as the teacher's coming round, then it's the teacher that's just generally checking with the whole class that they're okay with everything, rather than the kid having to put their hands up. Because I know when you get to kind of intermediate age, putting your hand up to ask for help is not seen as great by your peers. So just doing it discreetly, and the teacher just regularly checking in.
And if you're if it's a child who's typically more introverted or more anxious, that's a huge ask to put their hand up. And that's just another, barrier. So having those little visuals just on the desk are great.
And sometimes, as well as those visuals being up on the screen, having visuals separately on the desk and breakdown of task. For the kids that might struggle with the kind of visual from the board to where they are, can sometimes help to just have a little checklist of, this is what I'm working on at the moment, when I've done this, when I've done that.
And sometimes that might need to be broken down even more into, so for example, if it's writing time, then it might be the task is broken down to get your book out, so a picture of the book, and it might be to turn to this page, and it will show a page open with nothing on it, write the date, they've started, and then they can get going. And
sometimes a visual of knowing what it looks like when it's finished, and that applies to home as well. So say if you want them to tidy the bedroom, what does my bedroom look like when it's tidy? What does this task at school look like when it's completed? How will I know when I've finished? And what do I do when I have finished?
And teacher modelling, that teachers can model that, and then sometimes they might even have a template, as they get a bit older, in a writing task, for example, and so it's broken down into parts, and in each individual part it might explain what needs to go in this bit, what needs to go in this bit, and what needs to go in this bit. So it's broken down, and that's for all children. So it's not just, for one child or two children, or and for thinking back, for those that have impulse control difficulties, before children go out to play or lunchtime, the teacher will often give pre-corrects. So that means before they go out to play, the expectation is, this is what you'll be doing, this is where you can play, this is the sorts of things you can do, and then when you hear the bell, we come back. So it's just reminding them of how play is going to, and just all the time.
Like Vanessa said, the scaffold, the guardrails of what's allowed and what's...
And it's for all children.
I like that. I know what works for me at home is asking them to repeat it back to me, just so we're all on the same page as well. That helps a lot as well.
And that rule of 3. So they say to chunk things into 3 if you're trying to give them information, because with working memory we know that 3 separate bits.
I see 3 bullet points on a slide.
And do it visually as well. So first I need you to do this, then this, then
no
this.
more than 3 things.
No more than 3 things.
That's really handy tip.
Some kids it will be less than that.
It'll be one at a time.
There's also Maury reminded me of talking cans, which I've used in the past as well. So they have little magnets on them, you can put them on the fridge, and you just put your instruction in it, you record your own voice, and then the kids can come back and replay it, so that if you have given 3 instructions and they've forgotten number 3, they can come back and replay it, so you don't have to be constantly repeating yourself. So that works well in a classroom as well as...
And even when it's writing stories, because sometimes children think they've verbally told you what they'd like to write, and then they think, oh, I can't remember now what I was starting with. And so if they start speaking, and you can record a bit of their language, and then you can say, well, you write that bit down, and then what comes next, and give some leading questions or some open-ended questions about what's happening next in the story. You've just said X, Y, Z, and that has worked really well.
Or for older kids, getting them to mind map things before they start to actually start a task, so they've got all of their ideas down on paper, because then they can go around and kind of take this off, take that off.
Is it hard to teach neurodiverse kids or kids with poor executive function how to do mind maps? Because not everyone knows how to get started.
No, I do spend quite a lot of time with my teens teaching them how to do that and how to break it down. There's quite a lot of apps on the computer that actually show you how to do it and work it through as a process.
And again, that's modelling. It's video modelling, and video modelling. There's a lot of literature around that shows that video modelling is a really good strategy to use.
Video modelling.
So seeing something, it's a bit like YouTube, when you see something, how to make something on YouTube, and you think, oh, how am I going to do X, Y, Z, and then you think, oh, what was that step again? And you can go back to it, and that's the good thing about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of the kind of children that we work with are visual learners and learn best through that visual mode. So doing that way.
I have definitely worked with some neurodiverse young people who are very resistant to mind maps. I'm not too sure why that is, but so I think it's just balancing out that, for some young people it's just not going to be their thing, but there'll be something else visually. It'll be something else visually that will work, but I don't know whether it's just too chaotic, not linear enough.
It might be too many things to look at and understand at once.
Possibly, So not one thing will fit everybody. It's just kind of
I think that's important to remember as well as a parent, that what your organisation and planning systems might be might not necessarily work for your child. I know I'm a very kind of paper-based person. I love my lists, I love my post-it notes and things, but other people might be very kind of computer focused, and they've got all the planners on the phone or on the computer, and it's working out what works best for your child, because what works for you might not necessarily work for them. And sometimes that can work with teachers as well, in terms of if teachers have got a certain system and they're maybe trying to incorporate that system with everyone, it's recognising that not everyone will learn in that way, and that sometimes those systems need to be adapted to suit the child.
Buddy systems are also really good in the classroom, but high school and primary actually.
Within the class, having a buddy, you can say,
just someone just to lean on a little bit if you're getting a bit lost. Not someone to rely on, but someone who you can touch base with if I've done all the things I know that I need to do, but I'm still feeling lost, or I've still forgotten this, and there's just that go-to person they can use before they go to the teacher, who might be overwhelmed with the number of students in their class on any particular day, or just busy for other reasons.